Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of thecreditrepairshop.com. In today's video, we're going to talk about 33,685 reasons to smile for a client. A client that has now $33,685 and 13 cents reasons to smile, and we're going to get into that on how we were able to help this individual. Trust me, they are very happy. But something that I want to do is I want to talk about, I want to do a magic trick for you. My granddaughter and my grandson, they were up and they were visiting, and my middle daughter, they were visiting, and we went to see a magic show, and she was like, how do they do that magic? You know, she was like, they were both at the edge of their chairs. And I was like, well, we're going to get the magic kit because I like to do magic too. And I wanted to see. The only thing is that my grandchildren, my three grandsons, they're a lot younger. So when you show them magic, they're like, you know, they just don't understand. She's 8 years old. And I was like, is she going to really understand it? But she was like, yes. We pulled out the book and we went through it. We did every magic trick. It was late at night, like 10 o'clock at night. And she was like, we're going to go through every one of them. And I was like, I got to spend time with her. You know, if this is something that she wants to do, I'm going to just, even though I was tired, I was like, I got to do it with her. And one of the tricks, I'm going to show you one of the tricks that we did. And she executed this trick very well. And this is the trick is that you make the cloth disappear. So here you go here, there's a red cloth. And then what we would do is, she said, what we had to do is we had to say, okay, we're going to make this disappear right in front of people. And we had to, the first thing that people would think is like, you're going to slip the cloth into your, try to stick it into your shirt or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it up and then I'm going to just tuck it in to my hand. She was like, you got to stick this in your hand. You got to stuck tight. Like I was like, you got to make a fist real tight, because when you make the fist really tight, you will see that it'll disappear. So you can see here, it disappeared. Nothing's in my sleeve. Nothing's in this sleeve. And then I'll hold it up. My hands, you can see even neutral. And then I'll go back and then we're going to pull it back out again. And you can see here that it's here. So I like this trick. Some of you might know that trick, but I like this trick. So now let's get into what everybody is here for. And I want to mention something real quick. Everybody's talking about this Chat GPT. Is that what it is? Chat GPT. Let me tell you something that Chat GPT won't never have. And if you ever watched the movie Star Trek, the motion picture, the first one when they started doing the movies at the theater, not, you know, when they came from TV to the theater, there was the first movie, it was Star Trek, the motion picture. Now, if you haven't seen that movie or you're not a Star Trek fan, there was one thing that happened at the end where the Voyager satellite, we had sent it out in the 1960s or 70s, I'm not sure when we had sent it out, and it had came back to planet Earth, and it was looking for its creator. And the Voyager satellite that became this huge machine. It was like its own universe within itself. It had all types of knowledge. But there was one thing, it was like, I want to get the creator. It wants to see the creator, or, you know, whatever a machine could do, attach with the creator. And then but they knew that it was a code to give. They told I'm getting a little mixed up here. They told Voyager, hey, this is, we can help you with the creator. We're the creators. And it was like, there's no way humans could be the creator. And then what they eventually did is they said, okay, we can prove that we're the creator because we have a code that we will give you that will prove that we are the creator. You're going to download everything that you learned by being in space for all these hundreds of years. And as soon as they started to push the button, Voyager cut, like blew the line, like cut the line, because there was one thing that that Voyager wanted, and that was to touch, to feel. They like, it was this human to human. So no matter what someone tells you about Chat GPC, no matter what someone tells you about AI, I want you to remember that there's one thing that no machine will ever be able to replace, and that's this right here, this simple touch. And that goes into this video that I'm about to make for you right now, is that this person that we accomplished this for, this is how he felt yesterday. Because if we were not able, if this was not gonna happen, this was a lawsuit. This was a lawsuit. I'm holding in my hands a dismissal of a lawsuit from a very reputable debt collection attorney representing a national debt collection company. So this was not something where they just were going to do a Zoom call type lawsuit. They hired a individual law firm in this client's hometown to go after them, and the reason why is because they had $33,685.13 reasons to sue this individual. So when we got this, well, yesterday the client got this, let's see, this was December 1st, so it took 2 months for a resolution, to where they sat on the debt collection attorney, or maybe they were getting with the client and they were like, what are you going to do about this? What do you want to do? Do we want to take it to court, or do we want to dismiss it? Yesterday he received a letter saying that they were dismissing the entire case. $33,685.13 debt collection lawsuit dismissed. Now, let's talk about what they submitted as evidence or allegations, and then we're going to talk about how we broke that apart. So I'm looking here at the initial documentation that they submitted to our client. They had the bill of sale. I'm going to go into why this bill of sale was a huge problem, but they put the bill of sale, they put the portfolio that it was actually attached to, the portfolio number. See what else they have here. They had the signatures from the president of the lending firm completing the sale. They had the complaint, which showed that it was from Cross River Bank. They had the exhibits. They did the military disclosure where the person was not in the military. That's something that they got to do. They got to make sure that you're not in the military, because they're not allowed to come after you, even though we've seen them come after people in the military. They have the signatures from the debt collection, the transfers from one agency to another. They have the amount original loan agreement. So all of you who say that they don't have a contract, they had the original loan agreement. They had the agreement with the debt collection lawyer. They had the actual account that the individual had in the last payment. And they had a list of the companies, the lenders. This is like some type of lending club. And they had the transfer assignment. They had the transmittal, which shows the individual's name. I've talked about that in other videos, where when you request to see the sale, the complete sale document from a debt collection company from their purchase, they will usually give you this big stack. But now what they've been doing is they will just copy the page that had your name on it. And then they just had some more documentation here. And then they had the plaintiff's affidavit of indebtedness and ownership of accounts. So that's what they had. Pretty long summons, allegation, supporting documents on their behalf. And so now let's talk about how we broke this whole thing apart. First thing is that we always want them to prove everything about the account. So I'm just gonna run down here, and we have a service where we can either teach you how to do this for yourself, or we can help prepare these for you, and then you represent yourself. Just also, so you know, this individual did not have to go to court. They were supposed to go to court, I believe, if it was December. I don't know, it didn't exactly say when they would have to go to court, but it seemed like it's been like 60 days to 90 days, some of them even a year out on these court cases when you submit your response. So let's just say it was going to be 60 days, because that would be between the time that he had received the summons and then he would have the response in time for them to review it and make their response or make their decision, which their decision was to dismiss the debt collection case. So the first thing that we did is we did this is how we broke down the whole case, by using the documentation that they submitted. Because again, if you try to start quoting laws and other cases and all of that stuff, you're going to get yourself into trouble, because they're going to say, number one, they don't think that you're qualified to be able to answer or to state what happened in a case. And also those cases could be opinions, and then they'll flip around and bring another case that went against that case. So why get into that? Why don't you just stick with what they gave and what they provided and tear that up and let the judge make a decision? But usually what happened with these and the other ones that we've done is that the debt collection company themselves will say, we don't have enough to proceed. We don't have enough to proceed and win this, because if the judge looks at this and they look at our documents and they look at what they put for their affirmative defense, they're going to be like, case dismissed, and we don't want to be in there for that to happen, especially if it happens in front of other people. Because when they do these hearings, some of the times, if it's in person, other people are going to get an idea of how they can be the debt collector. So they don't want that to happen. A lot of the stuff is virtual now, but there are some that are still going on where people are showing up and they're having these many trials. Well, you know, people stay there all day and they have to see all of these debt collection trials that end up going, or a judge just makes the decision off of hearing everything. And it has been going in the favor of consumers if you challenge it the way that I'm going to show you how to do it. So the first thing that we did is we challenged the privacy. There's a specific way that you challenge the privacy when a debt collector buys a debt. See, they're thinking that they bought the debt, we could just, go buck wild and share everything about you, all of this stuff. They can't do that. So you want to see the document that the original creditor gave to them that shows your signature, saying that they have a right to even view your private data. That's a simple request. That's something that they didn't even provide, but they implied it by having all of this information about you. They implied it. They're in a way making the court think, hey, we have all of this stuff. That means that this individual allowed us to view their private information. So that's the first thing you want to do. The next thing is that with this one specifically, and some of the times there's going to be certain things that are different about each case. So with this one specifically, it says that there was no documentation showing the transfer of data shown on the complaint. One of the things that I saw with this specific complaint is that there was a number of debt collectors and a number of lending companies that were attached to this. So we wanted to get all of the information for each party that was listed in their document. So each party. So when we say party, we mean collectors, which there was 2 collectors in there and then lenders. Now, check this out. For the lenders, look at this. Look at this. So, I just showed you 2 sheets of lenders that were labeled on here. So now we get into where we want to know all of these lenders, the privacy, and then we want to know the transfer. We want to get the transfer information for each of them. The next thing is, so we have this. The next thing is we want them to prove this entire amount. So we have it right here, prove the entire amount that they're claiming. We want the contract from the original creditor. We want all approved charges. We want all balances, credits, payments, and interest rates disclosures. These documents are maintained by the original creditor. We wanted them to provide that, and we wanted them to have every hand that they showed, which they showed many hands that this went into. We wanted that shown, how that was handled with each one of those that were listed in that complaint. The next thing is we want, and they had as one of their exhibits, it had it shown that it went through another debt collector. So it showed, I'm just going to illustrate it here. When we broke down the documents, it actually showed that we have the original creditor, and then it went to a collector here, collector number 2, and then it went to collector that was suing. So you had it go through 1, 2, 3 collectors before it actually went to a lawsuit. So we wanted all of the information. Again, everything that we asked for, we wanted from collector 1, we wanted from collector 2, we wanted from collector 3, because each one of their hands had it, and each one of them must maintain the accounting. And if the accounting is different from this one to this one to this one, which is not going to be, but 1, 2, and 3 can't get the original creditor's full accounting. They would just never give that. They're going to give a couple of statements. That's it. But just for the sake of what they had put inside of the court complaint, they said that it went through this collector, and it went to that collector. So we want to see everything on there. We want to see the bill of sale from here. We want to see the bill of sale there. We want to see the bill of sale pertaining to that one. And then we got, they did not provide an affidavit of bill of sale for these 2 collectors, but they showed that it was a chain of custody from those collectors. So they didn't even have all of their documentation in a row. And then the transfer and assignment document did not state that the portfolio was accurate. And forgive me for the sun is popping up over here. So it did not state that the portfolio was accurate, and it did not state the name and the complete account number. So it did not state that it was 100% accurate, and it did not have a full account number, and the defendant's name was not on there. And then, because remember I showed you that long list of lending companies that they had attached on there, we wanted to have that shown for each one of them on there. Provide documentation for each one of the lenders that you had inside of that complaint. And man, this was a lot of them. And then we came around on the back side and threw the left hook punch that put them on the table on the canvas. We made a 1099-C request of every one of the lenders / trust companies that was listed in the complaint. Let me get to that here. So every one of the, I just want to see how they have it listed here. Um, so in their original complaint, they showed that each, and this is a list here. I don't know if you can really see it here. So for each one of these that are listed on here, each one of these, this is kind of crazy. Each one of these that are listed here and here and here, they actually stated that they did a charge off. So if you have one loan for I think it was like 35,000 when you first started. You have one loan for 35,000, but how could you have a charge off for which is 2 pages worth of lenders? How could you have that many charge offs? So we challenged that to make sure that none of them had filed a 1099-C. So you can see that this was a very good. They made a very good decision, because they were going to have to contact and get information from each one of these lenders that were listed on there. I don't know how they're doing this. I don't know. With these lending clubs, I do not know. Is everyone putting a piece of the money together? I don't know. I don't know how this is working. It's just crazy. But I can just tell you the end result. End result is that our client had $33,685.13 reason to smile. So if you need help with your credit, please visit us at thecreditrepairshop.com. Watch the video, What Makes Us Different, so you can see my 8-point validation process, my 2-phase settlement process. If you need your credit reports and scores, go to the website your3scores.com to grab your TransUnion, Equifax, Experian credit reports. If you have debt collectors coming after you, stop them early. Don't let it get to this right here. Grab my 3-pack of letters, statute of limitations letter for debt that is past the legal statute of limitations to collect. You can go to my website, thecreditrepairshop.com, or at the bottom, click the blog, type in statute, and you'll see the statute of limitations for all 50 states. In the first column, it's for regular contracts. In the fourth column is for open contracts like credit cards or lines of credit. Sometimes it's different depending on the state that you live in. If the debt is past the legal statute of limitations, you don't have to do any debt validation. You don't have to do anything but notify them that they are attempting to collect a debt that you are not legally obligated to pay, and that you want to cease all collection activities. The next one, if it's not past the statute of limitations and a debt collector has purchased a debt, there's certain things that they must maintain, and that they also must get to prove the debt. But most people just don't know this. So grab the cease and desist collection activities letter is in there for you. It's going to ask questions of the debt collector that they don't want you to know about. The next one is the debt validation, so you can have that back and forth with the debt collector. If they say, hey, who do you think you are? We're going to still try to come after you. You can challenge them back and respond back with that letter. It will literally stop headaches, frustrations, worries, everything. I mean, just imagine. We didn't charge this guy $685.13 to perform that service. But think about it this way. If he would have lost, he would have had $33,685.13 being garnished from his wages. You might be saying, well, he can file bankruptcy. You can't always file bankruptcy if you can't pass the means test. They will throw you into a Chapter 13 and you'll be making payments for the rest of your life. So get that out of your head. We can't charge someone that amount, but I can tell you what we charge is worth it. What we charge is worth it. Ask that individual, because you have a choice. You fight for your rights, and yes, it's going to cost. It costs something to fight for your rights. Or you can do nothing. If he would have did nothing, $33,000 being garnished from him. So information Sometimes you got to pay for information, and a lot of people want the best information. They don't want to pay nothing for it. So get that out of your mind. And services like these are worth it. I do ask for a donation with those. I took time and wrote those, and they do work. They save people time, money, and frustration. I created those letters. They work. So thank you for your time. Please subscribe to the channel. Please post your questions and comments.